What's the worst question you asked Sadhguru?
I'm sure I've asked many stupid questions in my time. But one recent one comes to mind. You know how Sadhguru is always magnificently dressed, right? So well put together. The turban, the shawl, the kurta, everything. Perfect. You're just admiring and awe of how he looks so regal, like a king, right?
Yeah.
So I made the mistake of asking him. I said, Sadhguru, who's your stylist? Now that you're part of the Isha Vibes, the podcast, so many initiatives, you should be communicating with Sadhguru, like, what are you doing then and there? The Punangas really put their heart and soul and complete creativity and sometimes AI madness into it. I absolutely send him some of the really interesting or fun ones that I think he'd like. He'll usually say, oh, this is good. So we want to do a very quick rapid fire. Sadhguru, save me. Sadhguru as a tender father. I think one instance really stands out when they first built a house here in the ashram. One parenting advice kind of liberated you also as a parent. Yeah. What would that be? Parenting advice that Sadhguru has given me that, like you said, liberated me was, one is just let them be children. Don't expect them to be. To do the magnitude and scale of work that he's done in 40 years, if you just look at that aspect, Akka, I feel that's mind-blowing. How can one person have such a lofty ambition of touching every human being on this planet, 8 billion people, and actually have put in realistic effort and make a dent on that? I've seen him in over decades. I've seen him in a variety of settings, whether it is at his home, whether it's with the Akka who cooks food or the security guard Anna, or if it is a really big industrialist or, I don't know, Bollywood actress. I see the same level of respect and softness in the way he interacts with them. If, for example, if the cook Akka is, say, bringing vadas, he'd be like, Namaskar, Maka. Every time she comes, you know, he says, right, don't look at anyone above you or below you, right? He's like that. Whatever he says, he's a living embodiment of living the way he speaks to us. Akka, you've had a lot of corporate experience. 15 years working with the banking companies in US and Australia. You've already worked in India as well. So with all these experience, with both your educational background as well as your working background, where do you fit yourself into Isha Home School, and what's your contribution here? When Sadhguru suggested that I come and volunteer at Homeschool, it was not a question of me being his niece and then, coming and doing something. It was more of doing the work that needed to be done. So I primarily work in 3 areas. One is I'm the communication strategist for Isha Home School. A big part of that is Isha Vibes, a plug for Isha Vibes, a brand new podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So we launched end of last year, and it's supposed to represent the voices of the children. And if you've had any interaction with homeschool children, you'll know that they're well-informed. They are very savvy. They're
very
smart,
professional.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yes. And the best part, they don't hold back. So we harness that natural curiosity and that, lack of inhibition in asking bold questions to people that we interact with. So Isha Vibes, we're very proud of the students. They research for the podcast. They help with guest selection.
So
and
you're the person behind that?
Another teacher as well, Maanya Akka.
Okay.
But yes, very happy to be part of it. It's been a great, tremendous learning opportunity. We have a lot to learn from Humans of Isha because you all are much further along.
Thank you.
Yeah, big fans of Humans of Isha. Hope to get us to a good place. I also help with internships placements for 12th grade. So I help students with their resume writing, coaching, interviewing, and ultimately placement in external companies. So that's another signature component of Isha Home School, the internship program. A lot of high schools in India don't really offer internships. In fact, when we reach out to companies, their first question is, really? They're in high school? You want to place them as interns? Because it's not a common practice in India at all. So what this aims to do is help the students gain clarity of what they want to do, further in their lives once they graduate school. So what I do as an internship, part of the internship coordination team, is we reach out to companies, ideally within the Isha ecosystem, businesses, corporates, artists, hospitals, people that we know well, because obviously
Isha is a huge network.
Yes, Akka. So the opportunities are limitless, truly. And for the most part, thanks to Sadhguru's grace, goodwill, they're usually very open to placing our students. So during summer break, 6 to 8 weeks, they work in companies, at hospitals, at startups, at finance companies, you name it. The variety of companies or industries they get to intern at is fascinating. I wish I had that opportunity to know what I wanted to do or what I didn't want to do.
And this is for the kids starting from what age, 13 or 14, or the
internships?
Yeah.
No, this is for 12th graders, so they're about 17, 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So before they step into the college, they have some kind of an industry experience already. They've been working in a company.
Right.
Okay.
And also in their 11th grade, they intern at various Isha departments. So that's their first sort of taste of, maybe I want to be part of SGO, maybe I want to be part of media, maybe I want to be part of engineering, construction.
I saw some kids coming for our media department yesterday. I mean, not yesterday. Last week I interacted with them right after your interview, actually. So I was doing this.
You see very enthused kids running around camera as well.
Yeah. I saw them. Okay.
Yes, Akka. So it's, like I said, one of the very unique aspects of Isha Home School, our internship program. They do 2 internships, one within Isha and one externally. And then we also go on something that we call Bharat Darshan. Unlike other, say, just typical travel programs, we really work with travel providers who curate an experience where we go and immerse ourselves in the culture of the place. Sure, there's some sightseeing. You go see forts or caves or palaces or, like temples. But I'll give you an example. In January, I went on a Bharat Darshan along with the 12th graders to Assam and Nagaland. And we actually stayed at tribal homestays that are run by the Karbi Anglong tribe in Assam. And they would cook for us. We'd go for a hike with them. They explain how they pass along the traditional knowledge of agriculture, spirituality, taking care of animals, the food, all of that. So you really get to see it up close. They call it ecotourism. And it's very sustainable because you're not just going in a big fancy resort, going for 20, say 2 hours and then coming back. You actually understand how they live.
And this is for how long?
This is for about 10 days. So you understand their hardships, how they find it difficult to, hang on to the youth of their tribes or their villages as well. So it's been fantastic. And then the third...
So you don't stay in 4-star hotels, 3-star hotels. You don't get to eat with your spoon and your all the, cutleries, nothing like that, right?
So we do have some of those because the children sometimes they want a really nice cushy bed or a nice hot shower. So we mix it up. We'll have a couple of nights in a homestay, maybe one night because we travel a lot by road, right?
Yes.
So you want to recover as well. It's a very strenuous itinerary otherwise. So we do have a mix of things. But it really gives the children an appreciation of the hidden aspects of India, which don't necessarily make it into mainstream media. You don't know how people live. You don't know what their struggles are. So that's one aspect.
And what's kids' experience and what do they share in terms of their learning or their experience of life itself?
One is, for example, we visited a school in Guwahati that's run for underprivileged children for the tribal area. And our children, they did demonstrations of Bharatanatyam, Kalaripayattu, and I think some singing. And in turn, those children also taught them a few steps of the traditional dance. So one takeaway that the children have after those interactions is, one, they feel extremely privileged and grateful for the opportunity to, even have those interactions, have all the facilities. Obviously at school, they're complaining, Akka, why do I have to wake up at 5 o'clock every day, go to sports, go to yoga? But when they travel outside, when they see that these children probably walk many kilometers or take a bus, it's not the same. You can't even compare. So they're much more appreciative of everything that they have. And like I said, an appreciation for how these cultures live, how how they're one with nature. I think that's truly important for them to see, because it's very easy to live in a concrete building and go to the park in the evening and then say, I'm in touch with nature. It's not that. There's so much more to that. So that appreciation for the various aspects of India, the cultures, and just the hardships that people have to endure on a daily basis. So the third aspect that I help with is the alumni network. For those who don't know, Isha Home School completed 20 years of school last year.
Wow.
Yay. We've had many, many fantastic alumni graduate, go on to do amazing, wonderful things in the world in a variety of professions.
Mm-hmm.
And the school has always wanted to have like a really strong and collaborative partnership with the alumni. We feel there's a lot to offer in terms of the opportunities, either for sadhana or leadership through Sadhguru Academy, or even just the industry connections that Isha and Sadhguru have. So more to come on this. We have some events planned this year.
So that's a new initiative after you came and was given to you?
Yeah, it's been on the cards, but as you know,
loosely executed maybe.
Yeah, they had a reunion for 15 years of school, but they have grander plans. There's so much more to do.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to help a little bit.
So you're coming into the execution part. The plans are there, but someone is required to execute them. Okay. It looks like your hands are full.
Yes, Akka.
And very exciting.
It is.
All the areas that you've been part of.
Yeah. That's one thing I love being at Isha is you get to do so many different and interesting things that you didn't know that you would be able to do. And you can really throw yourself in. You have the support. If you're willing to do it, they'll give it to you.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a tough question.
Okay.
What are the challenges you faced in taking up these roles, whether it is from the students or from the support staff or from the administration? Mm-hmm. You might be having grand plans. You might be having a certain vision to take things in a certain direction. Is it all a green tick wherever that you go, or
not at
you
all?
Have to work yourself through this and explain people, convince people this is going to work, trust me, these kind of things. How was it all along?
I think having worked in the industry for 15 plus years, I came in thinking, why aren't we more planful of things? Why can't we have a schedule where we plan things, weeks at a time? Because if you're in homeschool and probably on the ashram side as well, things are very dynamic.
Yes.
Right?
Don't tell me. Don't get me started.
So you can't say, you know what, next 2 months, I'm going to do this, and this is my schedule. It doesn't work like that. So that was a very big learning and a bit of an eye-opener for me when I first came in. I would wonder why we couldn't, publish the schedule for the students, a month in advance. It doesn't work like that. It's published maybe, 2 weeks in advance. But I think in homeschool, they call it controlled chaos. When things are so dynamic and you're kind of planning just in the moment, it allows flexibility to add, change, remove things to a schedule. And it also teaches the children and definitely the teachers and the faculty to be on our feet. You're not complacent in any way. You cannot afford to be. I think
it's like being on your toes all the time.
I feel like that teaches resiliency like nothing else. And obviously, it's within a structured and safe setup. So you're not going to fail, but you're allowed to experiment and go with the flow. So that was one challenge.
And I think that's a big challenge because you've been a planner all along.
Yes.
Right? You plan your whole life out.
Yes.
So there's a lot of culture change.
Yes. I think you nailed it, Akka. As a person, I've always thrived in my plans. I've probably fallen apart when my plans fall apart. And coming to Isha has helped me loosen that compulsiveness about me a little bit. Okay, more than a little bit. So I've also learned to go with the flow, do my best in the moment, prepare as much as I can. But after that, what can you do? Right.
So you aren't a disappointed person with a lot of ambitions and trying to take up things and it didn't work. Instead, you've kind of, it made you soften and still be very effective and efficient at what we do.
I think on the contrary, there's definitely no disappointment. If anything, I'm amazed at the kind of opportunities I've been given a chance to work on. And I couldn't have in my wildest dreams imagined I'd be part of launching a podcast, alumni network, things like that. Just wonderful, amazing things. I think I've grown a lot as a person as well.
It's how long you've been here now?
Since June. That's a
But-
full school year, Akka. We
Yeah,
close school in 4
yeah.
days. A full school
So
year.
full academic year.
Yeah.
Hmm. And how are the students looking at you for who you are or for the values you bring in, for the
Yeah.
experience you share with them?
Mhm.
How's been the reception from the students community?
I would say the first month or so, I would be very nervous because other than my own children and say my friends' kids, I've never interacted with large groups of children. You know how teenagers are, right? They're constantly looking, judging. You don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
So it was nerve-wracking, if I won't lie about that. But I have to say that they've been extremely warm and welcoming.
Hmm.
And I get a lot of compliments from the senior girls. Akka, you're dressed up. Is it your birthday? Nice sari.
They call you Akka?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but the light part aside, it's the children. I think just the grounding that they have being in this space with the sense of the vision that Sadhguru had when he set up the school, that holistic learning. I think they're just so grounded and genuine.
Mm.
And even around board exams. So 10th and 12th, how were you doing your boards, Akka?
Oh, my hair was sticking out.
Yeah. Right? And we
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
sleep, we couldn't eat.
I used
So
to
come to
cry.
homeschool during board exam, peak board exam season. Say the tough subjects like math, science. They still have to go to sports, okay? They
Mhm,
still have
really?
to. Yes. So we have an equal emphasis on academics, sports, and performing arts. So just because you have your board exam doesn't mean you can skip sports, okay? So you're going to go to sports, and then you come to Gnanashala, and you'll see kids revising, chilling. Nobody's stressed out. It's not a thing that we have or we encourage. Again, they go with the flow. So when you're surrounded by children that are growing up like that, how can you as an adult not be influenced positively by that, right?
So you've been influenced.
Absolutely. I love how they want to try all the amazing opportunities that school has, how they give it their all. You should see. Sports day, they give it their all. Performing arts, Kalari Paita, amazing. I wish I had that sense of drive when I was younger.
Are you getting it back now?
Yes. Like I tell everyone, I get to enjoy Isha Home School without the exams. Best life.
I was like wondering, that's a lot of, if I can say, canvassing for the people looking
Yeah.
to put their kids in homeschool. I've been associated with Isha for more than 20 years. I've been hearing, I keep
Yeah.
coming, interacting with the children now and then, but nobody spoke to me this way, I should
Mhm.
say. Then what's going on, how the kids take it up, and the opportunities that's been given to them. Yeah, here and there a little bit, but it's so wonderful to hear it from you.
And the campus, Akka. Have you seen our campus?
Yes.
The mountains, the greenery, the peacocks. It's stunning. The aesthetics of it, everything.
Yeah.
Perfection.
Even in this place, yeah. Today the peacocks are kind enough. They are not shouting and they're not participating in the podcast, but otherwise they generally do. Now that you're part of, the Isha Vibes, a podcast, so many initiatives, you should be communicating with Sadhguru, like what are you doing then and there, or looking for some kind of an acknowledgement from him. Has it happened? Like you share all the things that's happening here?
Not for getting an acknowledgement, but I do like to send him an update once in a while. In fact, when we got our first set of Isha Vibes mugs, printed, the first one I went and gave it to him.
Oh,
So hopefully we get to see him drinking coffee from it sometime.
okay.
But otherwise, yes. For example, if we have any nice reels that come out, I send it to him and he'd say, oh, this is really good or this is doing well. And I just give him an update.
Okay. So you also share some of the reels that's coming from, not just from the Isha Vibes. You're also part of the Purnanga Productions. Did you share any of the reels coming in? I think some of the Matthews reels are doing so great. The Omkarish reels are also doing good.
Yes, Akka, absolutely. I love being part of Purnanga Productions. The the Purnangas really put their heart and soul and
yeah.
complete creativity and sometimes AI madness into it, especially the Bhairava consecration. So yes, I absolutely send him some of the really interesting or fun ones that I think he'd like. And he'll usually say, oh, this is good, or he'll say blessings. So yeah, people keep creating. Let's hit the 8 billion lives. Let's boom.
He says that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we've had a conversation about this where Radhe was there as well. We were speaking about how Purnanga Productions, the content has been doing really well. I don't remember the number, but I don't know, so many billion views. And Sadhguru was like, yes, the very organic, relatable, everyday life content of spirituality, you know, as a key and core component of our lives, that type of content is doing really well. So keep it coming, guys.
Oh, really? Did he say this?
Yes.
Okay, I think this is a big, this is a big surprise and a boost for all of us creating content other than the official platforms do. So kudos to the Purnanga Productions. All the best. And this is so wonderful and heartwarming to hear that Sadhguru is saying that it is reaching more people
Yes.
and what is going on in the ashram, the kind of life that we live in, and the content that comes from that. He's saying that it is reaching more people and people are able to relate to it.
Yes.
It's like double thumbs up.
Yeah. And I think people need to know that we don't live in some sort of a bubble living in the ashram, because I think if we completely isolate ourselves from our families and the lives outside of Isha, we can give up that perception that, oh, she's brainwashed. Yes, I'm happily brainwashed, but but it's very important to give a very balanced perspective of, look, we live here in this beautiful consecrated space. We're extremely joyful, but we're also super intense in our sadhana and giving it our all, right? And that's something that you can have too outside of ashram. You don't need to live here to be like that, right? So I think giving people a taste of how our lives are here is, I think, helpful.
And in a way, are we saying this? Yes, we are intense. We are giving ourselves to the sadhana, to the seva, to the activities and all of these things. Maybe for the people outside, even our own volunteers community, this is possible for them as well.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, Akka.
Yeah.
Truly.
Many, many times when I used to, when I'm talking with my, team members in the media, I used to always feel we got to tell them that this place is very much like the place outside, but at the same time, the people here, are dedicated towards a certain purpose.
Yes.
And it's very much, we also love food. We like to hang out. We want to have ice creams and all of these things.
We have dance parties.
Yes, dance parties, all of these things. I think this kind of content needs to go out a lot from the people and sharing their perspective of life and how it has changed. So looking forward to more Purnanga content.
Yes. Absolutely.
So what's your role in that Purnanga Productions? Are you working with the more Purnangas here to create content, or how is it going on?
It was more of getting support to get started in the first place. So I've had a private account for a long time. But I was always hesitant to have a public account because once it's out there, right? So I've been very cautious about it. And Omkareshana, thanks to him, he was very encouraging. And I think even Swami Suyagna, right? He had a session about 4 or 5 months ago. He spoke about social media. He said, see social media as a way to express, not to impress. So that's a constant guiding force for me. I don't post things to seek validation or to show somebody how happy I am or how great my life is. This is just the way I'm feeling, and I'm posting snippets of it. That's all it is. So I think that is the help I got from Purnanga Productions. And they obviously help with, what kind of fonts to use, the technical aspects of it. And then obviously you collab with Purnanga Productions, the reach is wider.
Presentation part.
Yes. So that is my role, and trying to do my little part and also documenting my life here.
Wow, wonderful. Now let's talk about your kids a little bit.
Okay.
So they've been born and brought up in US.
Yes.
And you brought them here to the homeschool. A huge cultural shift in US. It's a given, like everything is being offered in a platter.
Yeah.
and it's more a privileged society, I would
Mhm.
say, the way of life itself.
It is, yeah.
Now, given that you are coming in from, born, brought up there, the shift and all of those things, how did the kids take it up?
So the Isha Homeschool decision for us has been many years in the making. Ever since the school was started, I had my mind set on it that when I have children, they'll attend homeschool. It took many years to actually get my family on board. So I would say that when we came 2 years ago, actually 2.5 years ago, we met with the principal, the director. We had a long chat. That's when Jay said, okay, let's do it. And the girls are also at an age where we felt like, okay, I think they'll be fine on their own. So like you said, in the US, life is very different. But I think depending on the circle that you're in, you can be fairly rooted in your festivals, cultures, traditions. So at home, we speak Telugu. And to the best of my ability, I try to keep the festivals alive. Like Ganesh Chaturthi ante, we call our friends children, we make little clay Ganeshas, we make a nice Kannada habba uta.
What do we call this? Kudumulu.
Kudumulu, I know.
Okay.
So we try to keep that, but obviously it's not the same as being in India, because in the US, a festival can come and go, you won't even realize it because you don't feel it. Unless you actually do something and plan something, you won't actually feel it. So that was a very motivating factor for us to bring our children here. So I would say the transition for the children definitely been rough the first few months. But I have to give it to them. They've been extremely tough kids. And like all the other kids at homeschool, staying away from their parents, some of them are different countries, continents. Amazingly resilient, my children and all the other children here. So hats off to the children, obviously. And also, I would say a big part of it is, again, I'm plugging for homeschool, that the house parents that they have, that's why we call it homeschool, because they try and recreate that loving home-like environment. They are not just there to, sort of supervise them. Supervise them is a very, like a cold word. They are there for them emotionally. They're there for them, obviously, physically. They're there for them if they want to just talk it out with someone. Because young kids, teenage girls have all sorts of problems, right? The biggest problem in the world, right?
Yes.
Friend problems.
Yeah, friend problems.
So yes, homeschool house parents have really eased their journey and transition here. They keep a close eye on them. So that's been really, really helpful.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, one thing I should say, when you said Kudumulu, no? So it's been a tradition that my grandpa, every Ganesh Chaturthi, he would, until his old age, he would sit at a chair and he would hand make the kadabus. There's probably videos of that. And then even Sadhguru and all would sit and make kadabus with him.
Your grandpa is Sadhguru's dad, just for the audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tata, it was a tradition that every Ganesh Chaturthi, he would insist on sitting at the table. However, even at his old age, he would sit and make hand-shape the kadabus. And then the little mouse that you keep in front of God. And then Sadhguru and all of us kids used to sit and make kadabus. Obviously, ours would be like misshapen.
So you've been with, you've seen Sadhguru as a guru, as a person, as a Chinnayana, in different avatars, different formats, different personalities actually. What is this one thing that you would like to share that that he's the same with everybody? Can you share something?
Sure. So as you said, I've seen him in over decades. I've seen him in a variety of settings, whether it is at his home, whether it's with the Akka who cooks food, or the security guard Anna, or say the driver Anna, or if it is a really big industrialist or, I don't know, Bollywood actress, I see the same level of respect and softness in the way he interacts with them. If, for example, if the cook Akka is, say, bringing vadas, he'd be like, Namaskar, Maka. Every time she comes, that level of, he says, right, don't look at anyone above you or below you, right? He's like that. Whatever he says, he's a living embodiment of living the way he speaks to us. So that level of softness, that level of gratitude, that level of respect is there in every interaction with everyone. Maybe with people who are close to him, like us family or, people that he works closely with, there's a little bit more playfulness and teasing. And man, some of his teasing, yeah, because obviously his thing is sharp, right?
Just like whatever you said, he treating everybody the same way. I've seen it, but to hear from people.
Yeah.
And that's something that has touched you the most, when you just look at him and
Yes.
how he's just the same
Yeah.
across all strata of people.
Yeah.
He's just bowing down to the
Yes.
creation and the creator.
And it's a reminder for ourselves. Why do we act like someone is less than us or we are better than someone else?
I think this is what will send a very strong message rather than what Sadhguru speaks, but how he is.
Yes.
He's a huge, huge inspiration. Because many a times when he's sharing or when he's talking about very profound things, I don't know, to me, sometimes it goes over my head.
Yeah.
Maybe this is not possible for me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But when we see this, the way he's just looking at people and, okay, this is something I can do. I can strive to become.
Absolutely.
And it makes a very big difference. Thank you for sharing this, Akka.
And like all the people I mentioned, there are people who obviously know him and interact with him. But even in the US, say we go to a restaurant or a cafe, it's the same level of respect and softness, even with, say, the barista or the waitress. They don't even know him. So he's that consistent.
Really, thank you for sharing.
What a person. What a person. Yeah.
It took a long, long time for many volunteers, including me. At some point of time, I started looking at him as, I don't know if I don't want to use the word God, but say Shiva to me.
Yeah.
Has this aspect or perspective hit you sometime during your way or journey with him?
It has, definitely, very strongly, I would say in the recent few years, because I can't even fathom a human being with, leave alone the spiritual side of being able to consecrate deities, Linga Bhairavi, Dhyana Linga, Kala Bhairava. Let's set that aside for a second. But just the sheer intellectual and physical and emotional capability that any human can have to do the magnitude and scale of work that he's done in 40 years. If you just look at that aspect, Akka, I feel that's mind-blowing. How can one person have such a lofty ambition of touching every human being on this planet, 8 billion people, and actually have put in realistic effort and make a dent on that? If anybody else says, I want to touch 8 billion people in this world, you would laugh at them. You'd be like, that doesn't make sense. But he's actually doing it. We're seeing it. And if you have some sort of, like I said, idea of the magnitude of the projects, the work, the level of involvement he goes into each and every one of those things, down to the smallest detail. That's not human, Akka. It's not even superhuman. It's more than that.
And that's how you see, I don't know, the highest divine possibility.
Like I said, I'm even setting aside the divine aspect. If you bring that in, I think that itself takes up the whole equation.
Is that, so I was just talking about Shiva. So, yeah, we don't know how, I haven't not experienced a Shiva, whatever. So all I have experienced is only Sadhguru, so definitely.
Yeah.
But in our culture, because it is seen as the highest.
Yeah. So yes, that thought has crossed my mind.
He's not human, definitely. Okay.
He's beyond human. I wouldn't say not human. He's much, much, much more beyond human. And that compassion. Who has so much compassion for fools like us?
Yes.
Who has unending compassion? So much compassion.
Any specific moments you remember that you'd like to share? With your kids?
Yeah. Parenting, actually. Over the years, obviously, there have been many parenting moments where I've been stumped. And I often, when I meet Sadhguru, I'll ask him for advice. Or when we go meet him, I'll say, this. She's not doing this. He's like, as if you were so focused when you were 8 years old. Let her be a child. So he always, tells me to let them go towards what their inclination is towards, not to, set the expectation that we have as parents on them, to not burden them with that. He tells that to Jay and me.
It was like one parenting advice that kind of grounded you and kind of liberated you also as a parent.
Yeah.
What would that be? That whatever that you heard from Sadhguru.
I think the one parenting advice that Sadhguru has given me that, like you said, liberated me was, one is just let them be children. Don't expect them to be a certain way because you think they should be a certain way. And encouraging them to do things that they're naturally inclined towards or interested in, rather than just pushing them to do things that will make them the most money or bring them, I don't know, fame or things like that. That's not our generation anymore. So that second piece, actually, he says that a lot. He always says to go for things that will feel meaningful to you in, say, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Don't just do something because everyone else is doing it or because you become rich. Or that's not the way to live your life. It should be meaningful and it should be impactful.
Have you gone to him with adolescence issues that your daughter is going through sometimes?
I have. And he says to just let them be. He says they'll figure things out, unless, of course, they really need your support. Actually, that's one thing he says. He says, unless they actively seek out your support or they need help with something, let them be, let them figure things out. Don't try and, push your way in and forcefully try to help them because you see it as a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've really learned to step back as a mom.
And they hate it.
They do. In fact, they go the opposite direction if you try and...
Any kind of course correction, unsolicited advice, it's complete red flag.
Absolutely. So recently, I told him that Adi, my younger one, is enjoying Bharatanatyam. He said, then in summer vacation, you should, maybe put her in Bharatanatyam class or encourage her, because if she's naturally liking it, encourage in that direction. Then I said, Sadhguru, you tell her. He's like, no, I'm not influencing her. Yeah.
Okay. So she should come and ask, I want to dance.
Yeah.
Is there a way I can dance?
Exactly. Or you gently suggest. He said, no, I'm not going to tell her and influence her. Because obviously I can say, see, Sadhguru told you to do it, right?
That shouldn't be the driving force.
That should be the drive, yeah. Although I wouldn't lie if I've said I've used that line before with my kids.
Sorry?
I'm joking, saying that I've definitely used that line with the kids. Sadhguru said you should eat better. Sadhguru said you should speak Telugu.
That hurts, Akka. When you say you speak Telugu to your kids. It's fun though. So, Akka, since you spent a lot of time with Sadhguru in different roles, so we want to do a very quick rapid fire.
Sadhguru, save me.
So I've carefully curated some nice questions for you. You can either share something like an incident.
Okay.
Or it can be a one-word answer as well.
Okay.
Give me an example that kind of impressed you about Sadhguru's aesthetic sense.
The one thing that's always stayed with me is, I think I mentioned in a previous conversation, how he took great attention and detail in planning my wedding, which
That is
happened.
attention to detail.
Attention to detail, but aesthetic sense, I would say the invite. If you can imagine, it was a trifold invite, mango yellow, and there's hand-painted toranams. Obviously, I think somebody painted it and then they made a card out of it. The font, the size of the invite, it wasn't like the typical wedding invites you see, say 15, 16 years ago, which was typically white or ivory
Yeah.
cream colored with just an embossed,
Yes.
God logo. This was not like that. It was, like I said, a trifold. It was just so beautifully done with the events listed, just enough detail. I was blown away. I think I still have very, very fond memories of looking at it for the first time and
You have
being
that?
so happy that that's what my wedding invite looked like.
You still have that with
Of
you?
course.
Okay. We'll put that out.
Yes.
One example to share about Sadhguru's simplicity.
We've had many meals at Sadhguru's house, and one might think that he would have this elaborate feast of dishes, but that's not the case. Anyway, I think he usually eats only one meal a day. And when we go for lunch or a dinner, it's usually a simple, rice item, a poriyal, and maybe some yogurt. So he prefers to eat very simple, obviously very nutritious food, heavy on the vegetables. But I think that stands out as a simplicity.
Sadhguru's favorite dish.
When he comes to Mysore, usually my aunt, Pushpa auntie, or my mom cooks food, lunch. And I think one of his favorites is the very traditional vanchin charu that we make in our house.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's a Kannada dish, but because obviously we've lived in Karnataka forever, it's made usually with horse gram and sabsige soppu, and it's a delicacy. It's like a special meal, and I believe he really enjoys it.
I've not heard about that at all. Okay, one dish you would like to learn from him. He's a fantastic cook, we all know.
Yes.
So what is that dish that you would like to learn from him and do perfectly like that?
I would really love to nail down the way he makes methi rice. We call it menthe anmu or masala rice. In our household, we typically eat it for breakfast. It can be for lunch. You eat it with a little yogurt and cucumber on the side for the heat. But the way he makes it with the right blend of masalas and spice is a little high for my tolerance, but it's delicious. So good.
Sadhguru has a tender father.
I've seen many instances of him being the tender father, the playful father, the loving and guiding father to Radhe. I think one instance really stands out when they first built the house here in the ashram, because Radhe loves to climb. She used to love climbing trees, climbing cars. You've probably seen pictures of her sitting on top of a car, climbing anything that you can climb. So he had this very cute, simple tree house constructed. There's a tall tree in front of the house, and very basic. You climb a ladder. It was like a machan, how you have in the forest, right? And those days, summer vacations, us cousins would love climbing up, taking a snack up there and just spending the afternoon reading. Actually, Radhe and I would love to read up there.
So this is something that he did for Radhe.
Yes.
She loves climbing.
Yeah.
Of the many moments you spent with him, give us one incident where you felt Sadhguru's heartwarming gesture.
I typically like to take something small when I go meet him, because I really appreciate that he makes the time for us to meet as family. He spends good quality time with us. He very patiently answers all the 100 questions that we have. So once when I'd gone on a trip to Mexico, I'd picked up this really cute small hummingbird. In Mexico, they make it out of this plastic weave sort of. Very cute, multicolored with little hangings and all of that. People typically hang in their cars. So I'd given it to him when I'd gone to meet him in Tennessee. And I didn't think anything of it. About a month after that, he sends me a picture in the house where there's a staircase. He had hung it from the railing. He had tied it, and he had sent me a picture saying, "See, I found the hummingbird a place."
So cute.
I know. And this was actually right after his surgery.
Oh,
Yeah.
he spent a lot of time.
Yeah, actually one more incident. So when he was recovering from his surgery in Tennessee, we had gone to meet him, I think it was in July. And we're sitting outside, and this little hummingbird would keep buzzing, like keep coming close, like very close. Typically, you don't expect hummingbirds to come that close. And he said, "Yeah, that's my friend. He keeps me company. He always comes and visits me." So the fact that I'd given him a hummingbird felt, kind of connected in that sense. So that's why I'd gifted that to him. So that's why he said, "See, the hummingbird is here."
Sadhguru as your Chinnaina.
Sadhguru has always emphasized to Jay and me as parents the importance of instilling South Indian traditions in the way we bring up our girls. And I've seen him demonstrate that in many ways as well. For example, if there is a festival and we happen to meet him, he'll always be sure to give me a sari, just the way we've always done in our families. And some of my most prized gifts from him are two Devi saris that he's gifted me. Yeah. And even for the girls, if there's a special milestone in their lives, he'll make sure to, commemorate that with a gift, a very meaningful South Indian traditional gift.
One last question, okay?
Okay.
So we'll end it with a question.
Okay.
What's the worst question you asked Sadhguru?
I'm sure I've asked many stupid questions in my time. But one recent one comes to mind. You know how Sadhguru is always magnificently dressed, right? So well put together. The turban, the shawl, the kurta, everything perfect. And you're just admiring and awe of how he looks so regal, like a
yes.
king, right?
Yeah.
So I made the mistake of asking him. I said, Sadhguru, who's your stylist?
You did?
He's like, what do you mean? I said, Sadhguru, you have like a billion things to do. You have to save the world. I thought somebody picks out your outfits for you. He said, no, that's all me.
That's a very interesting question. I shouldn't have put what's the worst question you asked. It's a very meaningful question.
It is. I'm sure others also wonder, right? How does he look so good all the time?
Yeah.
So it's all him, guys. It's all him.
Okay. That's a lot of revelation, actually. That brings us to the end of this podcast. Thank you so much for...
Thank you so much, Akka.
We learned so much about Sadhguru. Not just as a guru, but even as a person, as a family member, as a relative, as a granddad. Many, many moments you've shared. Thank you so much, Akka.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to come on the podcast. Big fan of you, Isha.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. And we will see you next podcast with yet another unique guest. Thank you.
Like, share, subscribe, and also watch Isha Vibes. Thank you.